Welcome to my video on Freud's stages of sexual development. This topic may seem controversial or uncomfortable at first glance, but it is of great importance to our understanding of the human psyche and sexuality. Sigmund Freud was one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century, and his theories have fundamentally changed our understanding of sexuality and human behavior. His stages of sexual development describe the process that each of us goes through when it comes to our sexual drives and behaviors. Although Freud's theories are not without criticism, they have helped to revolutionize sexuality and the understanding of the human psyche in modern society. In this video, we will give an overview of the different stages of sexual development, explain each phase in detail, discuss the weaknesses of the theory, and finally show important insights and applications. Stay tuned, because this theory is not only fascinating, but also of great importance to our understanding of the human psyche and sexuality. Sigmund Freud was an Austrian neurologist and founder of psychoanalysis, one of the most influential psychological theories of the 20th century. He was born in 1856 in Freiburg, Moravia, and grew up in Vienna. Freud was interested in the human psyche from an early age and published his groundbreaking work The Interpretation of Dreams in 1899. Freud's theories were based on the idea that our actions and emotions are driven by our unconscious desires and wishes. He developed a method to identify and analyze these hidden forces, which became known as psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis involves the analysis of dreams, free association, and the transfer of feelings onto the therapist. Freud also extensively studied sexuality and believed that our sexuality has a central influence on our personality. He developed his stages of sexual development to describe how sexual impulses develop throughout our lives. Although Freud's theories are not without criticism and are often considered outdated today, they still have a significant impact on modern psychology and our understanding of the human psyche. Freud remains one of the most influential thinkers in the history of psychology to this day. Freud's stages of sexual development describe the process that each of us goes through when it comes to our sexual impulses and behaviors. These stages are not necessarily restricted to a specific period of time in our lives, but can also overlap or extend. The stages are as follows: the oral phase, the anal phase, the phallic phase, the latency phase, and the genital phase. Although Freud's theory of sexual development is not without criticism, it remains an important foundation for our understanding of human sexuality and personality development. The oral phase. In the oral phase, the baby explores the world through the mouth and soothes themselves through sucking and nursing. The mouth becomes the primary sexual organ, and sucking on the mother's breast or a pacifier provides the child with not only nourishment but also a form of pleasure. In this phase, oral fixation can also occur, where the child develops a lifelong preference for oral stimulation, such as eating, smoking, or kissing. The anal phase. The anal phase revolves around control over one's body and excretions. Children learn to hold back and control their excretions, which gives them a sense of power. However, this control can also lead to conflicts with parents when it comes to potty training and bathroom behavior. Later in life, anal retention or aggression can also occur in someone who struggles with control or elimination. The phallic phase. In the phallic phase, children discover gender differences and become aware of their own genitalia. Boys are particularly interested in their penis, while girls focus on their vagina. In this phase, children also develop the concept of sexuality and intimacy, which can lead to questions and discoveries. An important theory in this phase is the Oedipus complex, where boys fall in love with their mother and identify with their father, while girls experience the equivalent with their father and mother. The latency phase. In the latency phase, the child focuses more on social development and less on their sexual impulses. Children have little interest in sexuality and instead spend more time developing their skills in school, with friends, and hobbies. In this phase, sexuality is often repressed and can resurface later in adolescence and adulthood. The genital phase. In the genital phase, the child finally becomes ready to be sexually active and discovers the significance of the genitalia in relation to sexual intercourse and reproduction. In this phase, young people begin to discover and explore their sexual desires and preferences. Successfully navigating this phase leads to a healthy sexual maturity and an ability to form intimate relationships. Although Freud's stages of sexual development have been controversially discussed, they have contributed to expanding our understanding of human sexuality and personality development. Each phase offers the individual an opportunity to go through important learning and developmental processes that can play a role later in life. Despite the enormous impact Freud's theory had on psychology and modern society, there are also a number of criticisms that have been raised against his stages of sexual development and general theory of the human psyche. One of the main criticisms of Freud's theory is that it is based on his own clinical experience and observation of patients, which means it has not been empirically tested or verified. Freud often relied on unverifiable concepts such as the unconscious and the Oedipus complex, making it difficult to evaluate his theory scientifically. Another important criticism is that Freud's theory focuses exclusively on the experiences of the white, male upper class, leading to a limited perspective. The theory does not consider the impact of race, gender, or social class on personality and sexuality development. Another drawback of the theory is that it is deterministic, assuming that our personality and behavior are completely shaped by our early experiences, leaving little room for change or development. This is often seen as too restrictive and leaves little room for personal responsibility or free choice. In summary, Freud's stages of sexual development and general theory of the psyche certainly have their weaknesses and limitations. While they played an important role in the development of modern psychology, they have also been criticized and questioned. It is important to consider these criticisms in order to gain a more comprehensive understanding of human sexuality and personality development. In summary, we can say that Freud's stages of sexual development and his general theory of the human psyche have had an enormous impact on modern psychology and society. Through his observations and interpretations of human sexuality, Freud gained important insights into personality development and the unconscious processes of the human mind. Although his theory has also generated criticism and discussions, it remains an important part of the history of psychology and has shaped the present time. In practice, Freud's theory is still applied in various ways, particularly in psychoanalysis and psychotherapy. It also influences the way we understand and talk about our sexuality and relationships. In conclusion, Freud's stages of sexual development and his general theory of the human psyche continue to provide us with important insights into human nature. We should use these insights to deepen our understanding of ourselves and others and to continue developing as a society.